Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So any questions, clarifications? We have seen up to verse 25, I think. Abhyaktoyam, yeah.
Swamiji, I have a question in 20, verse 20.
Okay.
So in the last line, it says, Hanyate Hanyamane Sharire. Sharire is Saptami Vibhakti, right?
Yeah.
Of Sharira.
Yeah, okay.
So like, it should be like a locative thing, right? But
Yeah,
the
true.
translation given is when the body dies, so I don't understand.
That is true, but remember, the Gita, the Upanishad, etc., was following grammar before the Paninian system. So what we are looking at grammar today, Sanskrit grammar, is Panini. So all of them will not fit in. All of them will not fit in. So you'll have to contextually make adjustments. Like Saptami is used in the sense of nominative, etc., or accusative. So those changes will always be there. They are called Arsha Prayogas. Prayoga by teachers who are before this tradition came in, before the Paninian system came in. Like Hanumanji is considered Nava Vyakarna Panditaha. He was a master of 9 disciplines of grammar. That is all pre-Paninian, before Panini came on the scene. Because once Panini came on the scene, he tried to codify everything into one system. That was an attempt. But there is a lot of things that are outside the system also. So we call it Arsha Prayoga and leave it like that.
Thank you.
Okay. So all this time, Krishna has been talking from what the self is. This is the nature of the self. And from that standpoint, he has been talking the whole thing. You can't say standpoint, actually speaking, that is the point, okay? Everything else is standpoint. So, keeping that in mind, the nature of the, what you really are in mind, all these verses Krishna has said. Now, he is, let us say you accept the other viewpoint. Not that you really accept, it is called Ardha Angikara. For the sake of argument, we are accepting it. Okay? Technically, it's called Ardha Angikara. Okay? Parents will find it especially useful when you are dealing with your children. Okay, let us say what you are saying is true. Even then, this is this. Okay? Especially if you have teenage children at home. Okay? This will work very well. So, Ardha Angikara is the next verse. Okay? Atha chainam nitya jatam nityam va manyase mritam tathapi tvam mahabhavo naivam shochitam arhasi. Atha chainam enam atmanam nitya jatam, always being born again and again. Nityam va manyase mritam, they will always keep dying. Nityam here is apekshika nityam, not really nityam as free from time, etc. But it keeps on being born and dying, born and dying, born and dying. Okay? Tatapi tvam mahabhaho, hey mahabhaho, even then, naivam shochitam arhasi, you don't deserve, it doesn't deserve grief. You should not be grieving over that. Why? Why should I not be grieving? Yeah, I'm going to lose my near and dear ones. What is this? He says, why? Because you want to be practical in life, right? He's a practical person. All this is philosophy. Practically, we are seeing people are born and dying. What about that? Okay, be practical about it then. What is that? Jatasya hi dhruvo mrittihu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariyarte natvam shochitam arhasi. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrittihu. One who is born will definitely die. And one who is dead will be definitely born again. Okay? Dhruvam janma mritasya cha. This is the cycle that goes on. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. You keep born and dying. Therefore he says, Tasmad aparihyarte, for which there is no parihara. It's an inevitable thing. It's an inevitable thing. Aparihyarte. Natvam shochitam arhasi. You consider yourself a practical person. Here it is. Born and die. It's part of life. Accept it. Deal with it. What are you agreeing about it? That's why in the Indian tradition, supposing a person has crossed 85 and he is dying. Okay? Crossed 85. They say the funeral should be a celebration. The funeral should be a celebration because he lived a full life and he is gone. Yeah. Because Shatabhishekam bhi ho gaya. 81 you do Shatabhishekam. 1000 moons. After that, celebrate. The death is a celebration. Why? It's inevitable. It's inevitable. How long do you want to live? Until you're old and useless? Until you're old and useless? Come on. Yeah. As long as you're functional, it is fine. Of course, what is functional will change with age, okay? What is functional will change with age. In your youth, functional is if you can trek to Mount Everest. If not, climb it. Okay. At 90, it may be able to be walk around the house and do everything that you want. Fine. Not trek to Mount Everest, climb a flight of stairs and things like that, you're okay. Functional. But more than that, what? Yeah. No function, time to go. Old model, time to change the model. Yeah, it's an old model now, time to change it. All repair work, no more repair, it can't be repaired anymore. Yeah, it can't be repaired anymore. It has been used and reused and abused also because ho gaya. This is like in India, among the middle class, among my generation. How long would a t-shirt last? Okay, my generation. New t-shirt the elder brother will wear. Then after a couple of years the younger brother will wear. Then the younger brother also outgrown it. You throw it away. पोछा बन गया. Okay. वो भी हो गया. Say born, this thing, you became a parent, that became a grandparent, that is second. अभी क्या? Now time to go. Yeah. That is the thing, idea. It's inevitable, so accept the inevitable and deal with it. Yeah. But the human mind loves to crib. Loves to crib. Right now everyone is complaining about the heat and waiting for the rains. In July, let me see what they are saying. We got so much of rain. So much of rain. So much of rain. What do you expect? Yeah. Accept facts for what they are. It's aparihartam. Can't be changed. Can't be changed. We are looking at one small segment of your life, 80 years or whatever, and making all our value judgments, philosophical conclusions, everything based only on that much. There's a lot before and after. Yeah. So that's why he's saying, be pragmatic, accept it. Why? Because look at it, in Krishna's view, what it is. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. Avyaktadini bhutani. Before birth, you are unmanifest. Then vyaktamadhyani, now you are manifest. After death, unmanifest again. Just imagine, okay, one door here, one door there. Outside it's all dark, it is done darkness. This room is lighted up. An arrow comes from there. From the darkness an arrow comes, it shines in the light and goes out of that door into darkness again. Birth, death. That appearing into the light is what you call birth, going out of sight is what you call death, isn't it? You come with a certain force into this world. It is that force that makes you grow. You bring your own samskaras. As babies, you can make out the difference between your first one and second one. Why? Some mothers had told me when they were carrying in the womb that they felt the difference. Even that you can make out. Yeah, but by the time the child is 6 months, 1 year, you can definitely make out the difference. Yeah. Between the first one and the second one. Or between your child and the neighbor's child. Yeah, you will make out a difference. Because it is there. That shows the force of your samskaras, your prarabdha, your karma by which you are coming into this life. And you go also out like that. You go out carrying all your karma, all your memories, your regrets, your joys. Yeah, that's the force with which you are going out. That's what gives direction to your journey afterwards. Avyaktadini, vyaktamadhyani, avyakta nidhanani. But we are looking only at that segment that is there in the light right now, in our perception right now, and saying, this is life. There's a lot before and after. This is only the beginning of a segment on earth, that's it. That's why sometimes in my camps and I do past life regression to show people, hey, how many lives you have lived before. Yeah. And they all come and tell me, my God, I never thought I was this in my last life. Yeah. Accept it. Sometimes you may not be very happy with what you discover about your past. That's okay. We have done things in our lifetime which we are not very happy with. This is past lifetime. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Accept the good, the bad, the ugly. That's it. Yeah, in this lifetime, previous lifetimes also. Same thing. Same thing. Okay. All right. Then, tatra ka paridevana, he says. What are you grieving about then? What are you grieving about? Yeah. In fact, if you find that there is no purpose left in your life, you are just existing from day to day, that's the time that many people will want to go. If you have some spirituality in you, some little bit, even forget spirituality, even little bit religiousness in you, you believe in a life hereafter, this, that, etc., you will want to go. My mother was like that. She was 91 plus and she would always ask me, why is the Lord not taking me? Why is the Lord not taking me? Now what answer can I give? Prarabdha hai na thora. Her prarabdha, my prarabdha also. My sister's prarabdha also. We all have to put up with each other for some more time. So I used to tell her, ask him. Meru ko kya puchte? Ask him. Yeah. I'm Brahmavid, I know Brahman, I don't know all the details of everything that is there in the universe. Nahi pata. So she decided, enough is enough. There's nothing. What am I doing with my life? I'm just existing here. Stopped eating, stopped drinking, everything. I'm going. And she went like that. She went like that. Conscious decision to go. Why? Because for the last 10 years in her life, there is no purpose. What is the purpose? Even grandchildren are grown up. Even grandchildren are grown up. She was religious, but she was not into studying Vedanta and things like that. That next lifetime. Yeah, so she decided next life. Another life. Let me put an end here. Tatra ka paridevana. What are you? Pashtapa kyun? Why are you regretting all this, crying over it? It's a fact of life. Yeah. And it's important to recognize this inevitability of it and be comfortable with the idea of birth and death. Yeah. We try to protect our children, etc., from the idea of birth and death. Please don't do that. The earlier they get comfortable with the idea, the better it is. Don't say one day I will be gone. Don't make them feel insecure like that. Because suddenly Swamiji Bola should make them comfortable with that. Yeah. Yeah. Like my niece saw, I think it was Rajiv Gandhi's death on the TV. And everyone going and paying respects. So then someone in the building died. And she tells her mother, I was there with them at that time. Mama, I want to go and put a flower. Because she saw it on TV. And my sister said, no, come on, you can't do things like that. I said, no, let her. Let her. All their relatives, I mean, it's a known family, their relatives will feel very happy. Even a child is paying respects. They will feel happy. She is comfortable with the idea of death. Yeah. We all have to. Really speaking, you start living only when you confront your own mortality. Yeah. When you confront your mortality, you start living. I was lucky that I could do it very early in life. I'm not saying all of us should put ourselves in dangerous situation just to confront mortality. But many of us, at least when we are younger, would like some adventure sports. No? Somewhere where there is some risk. If nothing, riding a bike. Because there is a risk factor. It's not like driving a car. Yeah. So, but that's this thing. Why? Because it makes you feel alive. It makes you feel alive. Any adventure sport where there is a risk factor makes you feel alive. There was a time when I used to do this regularly, take people to camps in Rishikesh, take them river rafting, etc. Okay, next March, we are doing it. Because that's the day they are given us. By kids' exams. Okay. Or in the camp will also, there is a meditation on death. Later on it comes in this thing. We will do that also. Yeah, yes. Because to accept it as pragmatic as practical. See, Western doctors in Western medicine believe that you have to do your best to keep the body alive, at any cost. But even they have started accepting now. Living wills, DNR, do not resuscitate. If I'm in this thing, no, don't put me on a heart-lung machine and things like that. They have started accepting it. Why? Because you have to come to, yeah, you will do everything to make a person live, but you will not prolong death. You will not prolong death. You will not cut short life. Yes, fair enough. But you will not prolong death also. Death has to happen, let it happen. It is meant to happen. You can't do anything about it. Yeah. Okay, I may tell some things which will make all of you a bit shaky. Every time there is a dasha sandhi in your horoscope, that means a major change of dashas. Like say Rahu is getting over, Guru is starting, okay, or Moon is getting over, Rahu is starting. All the dasha sandhi they call it, major period. Every major period there is a risk for your life. You can go. Yeah, it's a fact. You can go at that time. At any of these places you can go. In fact, death is your constant companion. When you are being born, in that process you could have died. You could have died in the womb, be a stillborn. Born, you could have died. Your immunity system is not developed. You are exposed to so many viruses, bacteria, etc. as a child. Any one of them could have finished you. But you survived. Then, as a teenager running around and playing all over in a city, any passing car or truck, dumper, or a teenager behind the car could have taken your life away. Survived. Okay. Any illness, heart attack, stroke, etc. could have taken your life away. Childbirth could have taken your life away. My friend is a gynecologist, and with all our modern this thing, we saw a lady dying during childbirth. Couldn't come to terms with it. Their gynecologist couldn't come to terms with it. In today's world, why should somebody die in childbirth? Can happen. With all their advancements, it can happen. In old age, all the diseases, whatever happens. You survived all of that. But a time comes when you say, hey, death, I've been keeping you waiting for a long time. Time to give you a hug. Chalo, let's go. This is how you have to face it in the practical terms. In practical terms. That is it. That's a fact of life. That death is inevitable. Death is inevitable, then another birth is inevitable as well. Because death, what is death? You are just dropping the body, old model. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya. Changing old clothes. Changing old clothes. Enough. But Swamiji, what about people dying when they are young? What about people changing the car model within 2 years? Or people buying a dress, I will never wear it again. Only this party I worn it, I never wear it again. Why are you buying it? Rent it out. That's what many celebrities do anyway. That's it. Karma, karma phalam, that's it. You came with nothing except your karma and karma phalam. You go with nothing except karma, karma phalam and the lessons learned in this lifetime. The essence of the lessons. Not the Sanskrit and the French and all that you learned. No. The essence of life lessons that you have learned. Everything else is samskara in your mind. If you find mathematics easy, previous lifetime you dabbled in it, the samskara is there. Yeah. So like that goes on. Tatra ka paridevana. What is there to worry about it? What is there to crib about it? Right. I'll miss the person. Yeah, you'll miss the person. Therefore, some grief is natural. And deal with that grief. So many ways of dealing with it. Deal with it. It's good. Healthy. Tears, they're also healthy. As long as the tears are healing, they're healthy. Nothing wrong with tears. They're healthy. They're letting out your grief. You may have to, not crying alone may not be enough. You may have to do something about it. In terms of telling your goodbyes, completing the relationship, etc. Whatever is felt incomplete in the relationship, to take care of that. Yeah. That's why death where the person was not well for some time, etc., and died, is easier to deal with rather than a sudden death, irrespective of the age. Why? Because you had come to terms with the fact. So similarly, you have to come to terms with the fact. Whatever happens, you have to come to terms with the fact. Okay, all right. Then going back to what the self really is. This verse is bodily lifted from Kathopanishad. Okay. Ascharyavat paschati kaschidenam आश्चर्यवत् भवति तथैव चान्यः वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवत्येनम् अन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वापि एनं वेद न चैव कश्च आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम्. When you get that insight, that understanding, yes, this is me, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that consciousness limitless is me, Ascharyavat paschati. Words fail you at that time. Thinking fails you. Oh my God. It's a stunning revelation. Or it can be a slow thing, but okay. Ascharyavat paschati. I who had taken myself to be a finite entity created here with a horoscope, which sometimes looks like a horoscope. This is me. And now I am the basis for the whole creation. Ye kya baat hai? Ascharyavat paschati kaschidenam. And Ascharyavat vadayati tathaiva chanyah. And another person is revealing it, speaking about it. That itself is a great wonder. Something that is beyond words, something that cannot be described, something that you cannot explain by piling up of adjectives, something that it's not descriptive, something that cannot be encompassed by finite words, that's being revealed by finite words. Ascharyavat, that's also a great wonder. And Ascharyavat shrunoti tathaiva chanyah. And in wonder, another person listened to it. Oh my God, this is so great. Ascharyavat shrunoti tathaiva chanyah. And in spite, Shrutvapi Veda na chaiva kascha. And there are many who don't understand it even after hearing it. Even after hearing it, there are many who don't understand it. Correct? Why? Mind is not yet ready. That's all. Mind is not yet ready. Or because it is so new. Everything you have studied in the world is you have studied by conceptualizing, isn't it? Whether it is mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, psychology, anything that you studied in the world, it is all by conceptualizing. In the study of Vedanta, you have to drop all concepts. To know yourself, you have to drop all concepts. The teacher will break the concept. Then you see, after some time a new concept is being formed. You have to break that. Then another one formed, break that. So this breaking of concepts, that's why you will, after some time you feel, understood. Suddenly you will get into a class where you feel, I don't understand. Why? Because you have formed a concept around it and the teacher knows, abhi time ho gaya. They have taken one step, that's good. Now, next step you have to break this, so break that concept. Oh my God, what do I know now? That's the only way to learn. That's why it requires some sticking to for some time. Some length of time you have to stick to the teaching because concept by concept is broken and the thing is being revealed. What you are is being revealed. And to drop academic approach to it. It's not an academic study, it's a value-based study. And what is the value? Me gaining moksha, freedom from all my existential issues. That is the value for it. So with that value, when you study, it works. That value when you study, it works. Why should it not work? May take some time, that's okay. You have your whole lifetime ahead of you. Believe me, it doesn't take that much of time that you think it takes. It doesn't. When I started studying, I thought very difficult. I came from a very different background. This will take a lifetime. My whole life will go in this. It's okay, fine. That's why after the course I didn't start teaching. I went off to Rishikesh. I said no. Not that the others had very rooted in that knowledge, they were also not rooted. I could see that. They all were getting there. We all were getting there. I said no. Rishikesh. And after some time, oh my God, it's all clear. Abhi kya karna hai? It's all fine. Yeah. Then my teacher called me, come. Confuse all the people in Bombay. I said, okay, I'm done. I'm good at that, confusing people. So, if people don't get it, it is only because of this, that some fine tuning of the mind may be required. Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampati, all that we talked about, no? Few classes back. Fine tune, see what is there. Not as a self judgment, as fine tune. Yeah. That's all that is necessary, nothing more. It doesn't take all that, no? Because we are brought up with stories. Rishis did thousands of years of tapas, etc. All that tapas was for something else. It is not for Atmajnanam. Atmajnanam doesn't require that tapas. Then after having done all that tapas, etc., they found whatever they achieved is not good enough. They don't feel that the moksha still. Then what? They went to a teacher and learnt. Don't you have stories? In the Upanishad there is a story. Narada going to Sanat Kumara. Narada has been the most abused figure in history, thanks to Hindi films and other films also. They make him look like some someone who likes to manipulate situations. No, Narada's job was not that. Narada's job was to give a twist and turn to the cosmic play that is happening. When necessary, to take it in some direction, to give it a direction, that was his job. Difficult job to play. So once he goes to Sanat Kumara, one of the rishis. Shokasya param tarayatu, take me beyond grief, all grief. Sanat Kumara is surprised. Triloka Sanchari Narada. Narada moves across the three worlds. Permanent visa into heaven, etc. He can meet the gods at any time, he can meet the Rakshasas at any time, and he walks across the whole play of things very comfortably. And everyone leaves him alone also. Even the Rakshasas don't touch him. And that guy is saying, I am in grief, existential sorrow. Please save me from that. So he tells Narada, tell me all that you know so that I can teach you what you don't know. And you won't believe the list of accomplishments Narada gives in that Upanishad dialogue. Some 32 disciplines Narada has mastered. To master one discipline, we struggle here. 32 disciplines. Astronomy, astrology, physics, Bhuta Vidya, physics, Preta Vidya, about the Bhutas, meaning the ghosts, etc. Like this, archery, he was a martial expert. Archery, can you imagine Narada is a martial expert? What he was? Strategy. So, all the 1,000 years tapas, etc., you are here for all these things, not for gaining knowledge. But with all that learning, the mind becomes so ready that there goes one dialogue is enough. Bhuma Vidya it is called. That section is called Bhuma Vidya. Yeah. What is Bhuma? What is not finite is called Bhuma. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Yeah, sometime. That's it, okay? Yeah. Okay, if people are you want a prescription, what I would consider as good, thorough study into the Shastra? Do the Gita, some supplementary texts, 5-6 Upanishads, Brahma Sutra Bhashya. Along with your working life, once a week classes will take you about 10-12 years. Within that, you should be able to gain the knowledge. Yeah. Really speaking, that's all it takes. A few days immersive experiences, that's important. An immersive experience like how you have the ashram, etc. That's like immersing yourself into it. Camps, etc. will help to make it your own. That's all that is necessary. After that, you're free. The whole thing is wonderful, yeah, really. That's what the verse is about. Which also reminds me of an incident. You know, all of us were expected to speak something in the ashram. You know, there will be a topic given, etc. So the first year anniversary, all of us were supposed to say a few words. So one of our Dakkayat Swami, okay, Tadrupananda, he's got an ashram near Bharuch on the banks of the Narmada. He got up and said, my stay in the ashram was wonderful. Everything here, the temple, the lounge, the food, everything is wonderful. And my guru is even more wonderful because he speaks about the Atma, which is the wonder of all wonders. And he sat down. Best speech ever. Okay. Ashcharyavat paschati kaschidam. And some don't get it at all also. That also is there. Not yet ready for the knowledge. You always find some people. In fact, many of you would have tried to speak about it to your friends, this, that, etc. Get them to a class. What happens? Most of them don't respond. No? Why? Not yet ready. I have a friend who is a teacher herself. Okay? And she was a younger sister, much younger, 12, 13 years younger. So, I know that kid also. From the time she was a kid, I known her. Okay? So, at her 50th birthday, my friend told her younger sister, now that you're 50, etc., isn't it time you started studying into some of these things? Brahmavida is in Bombay. No. I don't want all that. I don't want moksha now. I want 2-3 more lifetimes of enjoyment. Then I will come to moksha. Because not understanding that moksha is the height of enjoyment. You are Ananda Swarupa. Not knowing that. You're scared to come anywhere close. There's an expression in the Upanishads for this. Abhaye bhaya darshinaha. In what will give you fearlessness, you are afraid of that. Abhaye bhaya darshinaha. So like that, there will be people who won't come to this knowledge. It's okay, say a prayer and leave with them. Okay? They're not yet ready. How many lifetimes we took to come to Vedanta? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then concluding that section, he says, Dehi nityam avadhyoyam dehe sarvasya bharataha tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam sochitum arhasi. Dehi, the one who is there in the deha, nityam avadhyoyam, has to be understood as nitya, indestructible, surviving space and time. Okay. And sarvasya dehe bharataha, the dehi that is there is only one dehi. It looks many because there are many bodies. You, the consciousness is one. But there are many bodies. Therefore, it looks many. You can say there are many jivas. Mind, intellect, sense organs, etc. Samskaras, knowledge, memory. Therefore, there is an illusion of an entity created there. There is an apparent entity created there which seems to have a separate existence. This is what I call as me. But really speaking, I am the consciousness in which the whole thing is, on which this whole notion is superimposed. This whole notion of individuality is superimposed on that one consciousness that I am. That is Nityam, Avidyoyam. Yeah. Okay. Look at it. Different bodies. Therefore, naturally different minds. No? If there is no different mind, there is no need for different bodies. In love, you will say, two souls and one soul in two bodies. रवा दे. बात करने के लिए अच्छा है. It's good to talk. Okay. But you know, once you get into a relationship, you understand. No. As personalities, we are different. Minds are different. Desires are different. There are certain things in common. There is enough in common for us to survive the differences. That's how it is about, anyways. So we complement each other and we go on with our life. So, two entities. That mind is what? Nothing but thoughts superimposed on consciousness. Body is also superimposed on consciousness. So what is there? One consciousness. How many jivas? Zillions. How many lives? One. One consciousness. That's it. Nityam avidyoyam. Dehe sarvasya bharata. Tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shochitum arhasi. Therefore, with respect to all beings, he says, there is no need for grief. It doesn't deserve grief. Grief should be something that is not there in your vocabulary. The moment I say this, I am opening everyone for a new concept. What is that? Oh, a wise man will not have grief. Therefore, if he shows grief, he is not a wise person. Therefore, if I am grieving over something, I am not wise. I don't know that. I don't have the truth. Correct? Fact? Because natvam shochitum arhasi. Correct. It does not deserve grief. He is right. At the same time, you have to take into your account the human dimension in which you are functioning. All of us are functioning in a human dimension. Therefore, the human part of you will feel some amount of grief, etc. So, how will it be for a wise person? Let us say you are acting on the stage and you are supposed to cry in a scene. You empathize with the pathos of that situation and bring out real tears. You are a method actor. You are not going to rely on onions or glycerine or anything like that. No. You are a method actor. So you bring out real tears. How will you bring out? Because the tears come in the pathos of a situation. So you empathize with that. You pick up the situation pathos as a human experience. Because all of us have had experience of joy and sorrow. You empathize with that and bring out that. And when those tears come, one part of you is feeling good about it, isn't it? Man, I managed it. Managed it. So if you know the truth, that is what your experience will be with respect to everything. The human part of you will empathize with the pathos of what you are facing. Someone's death. Yeah, naturally there will be an empathy with that. I am very often called before a person is dying to see him dying. Swamiji, please let him bless him before he goes, etc. I said, okay, fine. I remember a few times when I am called, Swamiji, we all know she is going, but she is struggling to live, not going. She is suffering and living. I know the family. So I said, yeah, I know why she's doing it. I'll come and speak. After my class, I'm coming back to Chambur. I'll come straight to the hospital. Go straight, walk into the hospital. So I spoke to her. And I said, Amma, don't worry. Your husband will be taken care of very well by the children. Don't worry one bit about them. Then I came out. Oh, ask the kids to go in one by one. Promise your mother that you will take care of dad. That's what her worry is. Yeah. This happened at 9 o'clock in the night. 6 o'clock next morning, she was gone. So when I walk in after that, before the funeral, how am I going to walk in? Where is birth? Where is death? Am I going to say that? If I say that, I hope somebody there will have the courage to whack me. If another person says that, I will have the courage to whack that guy. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. You help the person go, no? But still there is a grief in the people who are left behind. So you'll empathize with that and be there for them. That empathy. How do you empathize without feeling some of their grief? You are not a fake human being. You are a genuine human being. Therefore, you have to genuinely feel their grief. At the same time, you are Ananda. So if you are Ananda, can you not go through a grieving situation? You are Ananda, no? Going through a grieving situation. You are Ananda going through a challenging situation. You are Ananda going through a happy situation. Otherwise, in a happy situation, you should not laugh. Somebody cracks a joke. You can't become more happy. You already are. Isn't that idiotic? If that is idiotic, the other thing is also idiotic. No? Yeah. So, take into account the humanness of what you are. Don't carry it into a should or shouldn't. This tendency is very high when you come to learn Vedanta. You convert everything into I should be like this, I should not be like this. No. A fact of. Don't get out of that binary thinking, black and white thinking. Understanding Vedanta involves a lot of grey areas, a lot of neurofuzzy logic, if you want me to use a technical term. Samjhe, never come across neurofuzzy logic. You are using a lot of equipment with neurofuzzy logic. Don't you have those dimmers in your switches at home? Light dimmers? They can have various dimming from full brightness to off in between various shades of light. That is based on neurofuzzy logic. It is not 1, 2, 3, 4, not stages like a fan. No, it is smooth movement. That's neurofuzzy logic. Simple things, you all have used it. Where it's not black and white. There are shades of mix. Same thing with Vedanta. Understanding Vedanta is like understanding a joke. Why? How do you tell a joke? Step 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, laugh. Is that how a joke is? Yeah, you go 1, 2, 3, 4 and then reverse the whole logic. No? Then reverse the whole thing. So you flip it around, only then it becomes a joke. Yeah. You're expecting one line and then the whole thing is flipped on. Yeah. Like when I say, hey, I believe in this thing of marriage. I think everybody should get married. Okay? I'm very happy when people get married. Then you're expecting something to me to talk about something serious about growth, this, that, etc. You know why? Because there's one more house for me to go and say, Bhavati Bhiksham De. Can you see the whole logical arrangement is just flipped around? Same thing happens in Vedanta. Drik Drishya Viveka, seer seen different, different. And then at the end, what happens? Therefore, this consciousness is limitless. Therefore, what you are different from is included now into you. You flipped it around. Can you see? This is what understanding Vedanta is. Why do you think I crack so many jokes? Because I don't want you all too serious. You won't get it. Be relaxed, be attentive. Then you will get it. Understanding and listening to Vedanta is like that. Be relaxed, be attentive. Let the mind go along with the words. Then you can go home later on, analyze, think, etc., and then come back with doubts. That's why, if you notice, I always start a session by saying, are there any doubts or clarifications? Since everything was flipped around, there can be doubts in this. Okay, yeah. Okay. Na shochitam arhasi. Then after this, remember, Arjuna also talked about his dharma as a king, this, that. It is adharma to kill my own kith and kin and all that. He talked about that also. So now, from the standpoint of dharma, Krishna is talking about the whole thing. Okay? But that I am not going to start today because I'll have to do at least 3-4 verses. There is not enough time for that. So up to now, any questions or clarifications? Or is it all clear? Yeah. Though dharma is not the main trend of Gita. Gita is not a dharma shastra. Gita is a moksha shastra, meant for moksha. But since the idea of moksha has to be based on dharma, without dharma there is no this thing. Without a life of dharma, you are not ready for moksha. After that, the hold of dharma weakens on you. That is true. You are not rigid about it. Initially, you may have been rigid. After that, you are more flexible about it. That's fine. But there is a script which is very flexible, which you can innovate, etc. So that also is included into the Gita. All the details of what should be done is not given. Yeah. It's only the broad perspective is given. So when I say this, people say, yes, yes, then we have to go to Manu Dharma Shastra, Parashara Smriti, etc. You can if you want to. Or you can use your common sense logic and come to it. With the understanding based on the Gita, use your common sense, you will come to it. Okay. So if there are no questions, we can call it a day. Any questions, clarifications?
I just wanted to hear the prescription that you said, Swamiji.
What prescription?
Once, you said you want a prescription, you gave a list of granthas, which is Gita and
Yeah, I said study the Gita, study 1 or 2 introductory texts like Tattva Bodha, etc. Half it is in Upanishads and the Brahma Sutras. First 4 sutras only with the Bhashya. That's enough.
And if I may ask, it's obviously
Beg your pardon?
right of me to ask, but if I may ask, I'm not qualified to ask, or I don't have a grounding to ask, but when does one feel that you have understood enough, or you continue studying regardless of,
Yeah, generally people continue studying because you may be under a delusion that you know the truth. Therefore, some touch you will keep. Yeah.
Every time you hear or every time
Exactly.
something lights up,
So,
you feel about it, but then you study further and then more life
Exactly.
experiences, and then you feel.
Yeah. And some amount of text is all. After some time, the study doesn't become difficult. It becomes fun. So it's fun thing. So one of the fun things you do in life is keep studying. Yeah. But you yourself will know when you know the truth. When this doubt doesn't come up, you know the truth.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I had one more small.
Yeah,
question on the
shoot.
same lines. Growing up, we were always told that you have to intonate each of the sounds properly, because they themselves are living things.
When it comes to chanting,
So-
that is only with respect to Vedic chanting.
So not necessarily the understanding part is different from the.
Yeah, from the chanting.
Okay.
Chanting is an exercise for the sake of other punya papa, etc. And for your growth.
Okay.
Here understanding is more important. If you can chant, well and good. Basic chanting if you have, well and good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Yeah. So, good place to stop then. Okay. Om Tat Sat.